Over time, I visited hundreds and hundreds of synagogues around the whole world, and especially in the United States. But also just kind of observed what has happened in all of these places, and try to understand why it is that it feels like there's a wall of silence, a sort of like a mute that's put on all the proceedings, like a blanket, a quiescent blanket that sits on top of a room and just makes it feel like it's all stuck. I'll give you concrete ideas for how to work towards solving these problems, although in many synagogues these are entrenched issues that need to be worked out over the course of a generation, but it's doable. I've seen it, and it can happen, and you can make it happen. The problem here is not silence. The problem is passivity. Everybody's afraid to express. And when we don't express, we miss the opportunity to really make the best of what these rituals were set up for, to express the deepest prayers that need to bubble up from inside of us, that need to come out into the world, that need to connect with other people, so that we can move on into the best versions of ourselves and our communities that we can become. The main hurdle is that people just have never experienced beautiful communal music. What's needed is to give people that experience, right? Because until people experience it, they don't know what it's like to be hugged by a giant communal harmony, right? Or they don't know what it's like to have a melody come and really touch their souls. But once you've experienced it, you won't want to go back. In order to solve that, bring musical people into your community who are great at leading other people in song. You want to bring people who know how to bring the voice of the community out and create that powerful experience. And send some of your most musical people to a singing retreat where they can really learn some skills and some melodies, and they can bring those melodies back to the community. Singing is very vulnerable. We don't really want to be seen to begin with, and singing is like opening up a whole can of worms for people's psyches. I mean, it's like you're really seen when you're singing, and that can be really tough for people. It's tough for me. Now, singing can be hard for anybody, but especially in Jewish culture, where for generations we've been trying to assimilate and to look like our neighbors, most of whom didn't sing or didn't demonstrate in any way. And on top of that, we sing in weird tonalities with words that nobody understands, and and rhythms that people don't really know, and so it's just kind of uncomfortable if you're not experienced with it to open your mouth in Jewish song. The very best way to overcome that is to get together in relatively small groups, not too small, but like 10 to 20 people. You need more than 3, otherwise people will be self-conscious. So 10 to 20, where people can get kind of lost in the size in a small group, comfortable but small. And then go into a darkened room, a partially darkened room where people won't, that has really nice acoustics. The darkening helps people to not be seen so much, and they find they can start to open their mouths because they're not worried about people seeing them. And then repeat a very simple melody dozens of times, 20, 30 times. Just sing it over and over again, okay? Every time that melody comes back around, it gets into people's beings. After 5 or 10 times, oftentimes people who thought they would never sing, they open their mouths in song because they realize that they don't have to think about it. They're just feeling the music, and it pours out of their mouth and out of their spirits. Okay, so darkened room, 10 to 20 people, and repeat a simple melody over and over again. And by the way, there's lots of those really simple melodies to learn on songisprayer.com, and I'd love to invite you to join and keep studying with me there. Here I am in a small Shakespearean theater that I just performed at. Sometimes a space is just too big. This room is good for 200, but it's not good for 100. They spread out like ink disperses in a bathtub. They go to the far corners of the room. They will never be reclaimed until we bring them back from the 4 corners of the earth. Even in a small theater like this that I just performed in, I still had to bring down the seats that were already on the back edge, and I put them all down here in the middle. And that really helped me to make a closer feel. People will say, oh, we got a big room, so we need to turn the microphones up higher. Okay, if you even have microphones in your shul, which many don't. As soon as the microphones are on higher, people go farther away, which means they then can't hear each other. They can hear the leader, but the leader can't hear them, and they can't hear each other because the microphone's so loud that they instinctively get the message that they're not needed. So here's another obstacle to communal singing, even against the best of intentions. And this applies to all of communal life, but it's the cycle of clergied passivity, where there's just too much clergy. The clergy are doing too much and leaving no room for actual creative initiative from the people. This usually comes from a well-intentioned spot from the clergy. The clergy thinks, well, my community, they don't really know how to do things without me, so I'll do everything for them. But this only deepens the passivity in the end. This looks like the rabbis are offering endless kavanot all the time about what's about to happen, how people should feel, and the cantor constantly sings everything out loud without giving any room. And it causes people to lose connection with their own creative initiative. That's the thing that happens when people have to make something for themselves, and then they realize their strength. So in order for people to really find their strength, they have to be allowed to fail, allowed to have it not be good. Of course, the congregation exhibits its own symptoms of over-clergification, which is extreme passivity. They watch the show and comment on it, and it's like entertainment rather than something to create and participate in. It's a form of internalized suburbanification, where we pay other people to do our gardening, and we pay other people to do our singing and talking at us. That's a big obstacle to singing. If you're noticing that in your community, either whether you're a leader, and I really have rachmanis for you because I know how well-intentioned it can be to fill up all this space. The most important solution here is that you have to trust the congregation. You have to allow the congregation to fail. Okay, and there's no better moment for that than what I think of as the awkward moment, and you have to embrace the awkward moment. If you're the leader, don't smooth everything over with endless forecasting comments about what's happening next. Let the spirit of prayer unfold organically among the people. Make the people face themselves through moments that are not scripted or smoothed over or made convenient. I really like to embrace the awkward moment, to let something happen where everyone has to wake up to their own experience. And often it's through the gift of awkwardness allows people to wake up to their own experience. This certainly happens with me. Also, to take it further, get off the bima altogether. In case you're like preaching from on high, come off the bima so people don't have something to watch. Instead come down and be in the palm of the people and be held up by the people themselves. Then people feel that they are important because they're alongside and next to their leader and they co-create something together. If you come off the bima, they might revolt and rebel and get irritated. Don't we pay you to be up there? But they might sing. If you're a layperson or a follower, you have to uphold the other side of the bargain, which is you can't offload your own spiritual awareness or your song to somebody else. You have to take that up yourself. And you have to co-create by agreeing to sit close to the leader, so you can be the kindling that sets the bonfire of song on fire. So an unfortunately really hard obstacle to communal song is active resistance. Singing is not our tradition. We don't do that here. This is common in yotzei shuls where the goal is to get in and accomplish the davening as fast as possible. We even have pride in getting the davening done with no wasted time, right? Or where you super want to get to the kiddush. That's the most important part, which could be. Or in Misnagdic traditions where, it's like we really don't want to have too much joy. On the positive side, there are some people like me sometimes who come in, like I had 4 kids and suddenly I didn't need all the extra noise in my life anymore. I just wanted a quiet, serene environment. And now I really value coming in and just and just having the quiet and the space and the still, So there is an aspect of meditation and quiet, but there should be room for quiet even among the singing, in my experience, the deeper the song, the deeper the silence and the deeper the meditation. So it can work all together. But let's just say that we are in that situation of active resistance where everybody's sitting around basically doing their best not to give any intention of song. For most of my career, that was what it was like in every synagogue I went into. But what I've learned is that the way to work with that is to really carefully pick your battles, okay? Because when there's active resistance, then singing is a sort of defiant thing, which will come across as a battle because people will be irritated, like, you can't do that here. We don't sing. So you cannot change that culture quickly, okay? You have to decide which battles to fight, and you have to pick one moment per service where you can do something extraordinarily beautiful. Just pick one moment, don't overdo it, one thing, and channel all of your energy into that one moment and try to make it as beautiful as possible. When we pick our moments, we actually, not only are we more likely to accomplish it, because you don't want to try to change 2 hours of davening with lots of moments of song. You'll just lose in a place where there's active resistance. Let's say that over again. Pick one moment. Okay? That one moment you put all your energy into, and you might win that battle. People might be like, actually, that was really nice. We could do that again. Okay? In which case you've won more than the battle of the moment, the song battle. Okay? But another thing that happens is when you contain the song to limited times, the people who are opposed to it trust you more. So they don't think, okay, now this person's gonna lead me, like try to get me to sing over and over again. No, instead it's like, no, okay, that person wants song. So he has some song. That's fine. It's not that much. It builds a sort of trust, and that trust can allow us all to stretch our comfort zones a little bit and get a little bit of what we each want. One other thing to consider here, in a place of active resistance, is to not try to sing in the synagogue. Instead, get together with a few people who want to do this on a Thursday night, and don't confront the synagogue service with your song. Instead, create song elsewhere, okay? It often happens, first of all, that is enough. That can be enough to just make your week beautiful. Just sing on a Thursday night. But also, sometimes the energy of that starts to pour out into other areas as well, and with the chizuk, with the spiritual strengthening of singing together, there's ways in which that energy starts to appear in other places, and eventually it enters the culture of the shul. If you're enjoying this, consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. It helps us spread these ideas in the world. And for even more connection, check out songisprayer.com to join our email list and to explore in-depth resources in Jewish spiritual music. The link is down below. See you next time.